Hi, this is Ray from Jackalman Games, and I never listen to Discard to Reroll with Mr. Chip.
Touch roll trash, Daddy.
I won't roll trash.
This is Drew from Arrowbrook Gaming, and I definitely do not listen to Discard to Reroll.
Hi, I'm Seth Holocron, and I never listen to Discard to Reroll.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Hey, this is Bobby Sapphire from the Hyperloops, and I legit never listen to Mr. Chip on Discard to Reroll.
Discard to Reroll.
It's Discard to Reroll. We're a podcast about a little dice and card game we like to call Star Wars Destiny. I'm your host, Mr. Chip, and thank you for listening. And I'll tell you, first we have the Millpocalypse. Then 90 card decks to fix Mill. And then after that, 2 character decks are dead. But we're going to talk all about that today, and not just me. You're not going to hear just my words, because I've heard the calls over the last 2 weeks. Listen, it's hard to get people to talk about Destiny right now. They're all focused. They're teching their decks. They don't want to share information with me. They want to keep it secret because they got Nova. They got championships coming up. But somebody who's willing to divulge the secrets. It's kind of like that old show back in the day when like the magician's secrets revealed. Like this guy right here. He's the Thunder from Down Under. He's representing all the fine men and women that serve our country as part of the Army Aviation at Fort Drum. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackalman Games own, it's Ray, the Thunder.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Captain
The Thunder.
Captain Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. This is the guy right here. Ray, thank you for taking some time today, breaking away from your Jackal crew to talk some Destiny with the trash that is me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. I'm happy to be here today.
Ray, first of all, I want to congratulate you. This just actually came in hot off the press. It says right here, you've driven the most miles to be part of Rochester, New York Destiny competition ever. When we had a store championship at Millennium Games, who shows up? It's Ray from Jackalman Games. There he is with his mat and crazy Piat deck that he was playing. Nice job with that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great that is a great deck. You still on that deck?
I am. I am having like a lot of fun with it, probably more fun than I should. And it was kind of like last minute. I just decided, hey, I'm just going to take this deck. And for those not familiar, it's single die Piat, single die Rebel Trader, and then Elite Snoke. And it's a vehicles deck, and it's just super fun. And I, brought it down to Rochester and had a blast with it. So we could talk more about that later. But I have been racking up the miles.
I think when I opened up all my packs of Way of the Force, which we can talk about that too, because clearly you've outpaced me in opening packs of Star Wars Destiny cards. But single die Piat, that was like in my mind, like that's got to be like serious business. Single die Piat. But you made it work. You guys made it work, and your whole team. He's the new meta. But so much is happening, Ray. We've got Nova that's coming up now. You're not headed to that, are you?
No, I am not.
People were talking about all kinds of business on Discord about the registrations and the numbers, whether they're high or low. I think they're at what, like 120 now? Is that? Did you hear the latest numbers?
Yeah. I thought that was a little low, but yeah, that's kind of the numbers I'm hearing.
And this is the U.S. It's not North American Championship was Gen Con, right? So this is the U.S. champion.
This is the U.S. National Championship.
The U.S. not just U.S. National Championship.
National Championship, right? Yes.
And then but it was North American Championship at Gen Con.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a U.S. region like what? I don't know, U.S. versus U.S. National. Is Alaska not involved? Is that where that?
Yeah, I think the Winter Open, it'll probably be.
All right, we'll leave that there. Here's a quick tip. Why I think the registration's low. You ready for this one?
Yes.
It is the first week school starts in the East. You can't, if you're going to bring your kids, first, my wife would shoot me. If I hey, school's opening, and by the way, my wife and I are both in education, and school literally starts that next week. I'm just going to go ahead and take off a few days and stay down in Washington, and not take you and play some Star Wars Destiny for 3 days. How's that? That's not working for anybody, I don't think. And I know like Bobby Sapphire and Tiny Grimes, and there's about 80 other ones who are educators. So it's just a little bit of a tough timing.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of like you said, educators in the Star Wars Destiny community.
Yeah.
Jackalman Games. We have Kevin. Kevin's a second grade school teacher.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. Every other person I meet are some type of in the education system. So it's pretty crazy.
You know what? It's Star Wars. I think that theme, and somebody, who was I talking to about getting better? And I was frustrated after which we can talk about, my store championship. And I brought Yoda, Cassian, aggro, and I think I went 0-14, which is, I don't even know how that's possible. And so I asked, I want to get better. And of course, Ray, you stepped up. You were not letting me throw away my cards, delete all episodes of the podcast. You said, we're going to get better. You're willing to help. But the feedback I got was, we'll play those people that have like all the cards and all the money, but yet they don't have the time to play. I said, you mean me? That's basically me. So I need to shed that stereotype, Ray, and figure out how the heck to get better at this game.
Yeah. Like I have been, I don't want to say envious, but I have been really encouraged by how systematic the Hyperloops have been with their runs at major tournaments or even their locals, and sitting down with a couple of them and reaching out and kind of just having conversations. I kind of got a background story of how they go about things. So I've been trying to implement a lot of that with Jackalman Games, and I'm just trying to keep bringing in different people in the group, because I think when we all sit down and we tech together, or we think about the card game together, or we just try to make each other better, not only is it more fun to play a game that you're better at or progressively getting better at, but it opens up things that you may not have seen, or lines of play that you weren't thinking. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm trying to build a play group. And I saw Chip over there putting his head down after his we'll say 0-15, because we played a decent amount of games after the tournament.
Yeah, right.
And I'm here for you, Chip. I will help you out.
Thank you. I want to just a quick shout out to Jay from Double Blanks. Just I hope he hears this. That just how you reach out, fellow community member. I appreciate it, Ray, and thank you. Yeah, I don't know where Destiny falls right now. I posted something on Twitter, and by the way, we're just getting right after it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about those 2-character decks and Nova decks and what we think in the meta and all that stuff. And questions at discardedreroll.com, by the way, if you want to get involved with the show. And we had a lot of people send some great stuff over, and using the Twitter too, which I appreciate. But one of the things I noticed is that finding where Destiny lies, like in terms of the CCG or TCG community, and I know that you know about this, Ray, that all the talk has been around the new Transformers game, but more about Keyforge from Fantasy Flight Games. And I need another game to worry about when it's going to be released, and all the issues they've had with Destiny. But there was this weird retailers, like it's like a retailer's meta site, basically, where they collect and aggregate information and statistics on like sales and sell-throughs of cards to the hobby channel and the mass channels and overall and all kinds of stuff. It's a very boring site. But one key thing they had was collectible games is one of the things they do track. And they say the charts are based on interviews with retailers, distributors, and manufacturers. They charge for it. But I was able to sneak in and get it. And looking at spring 2018, this was the top 10 collectible games in the hobby channel. And Magic, of course, was first. Pokemon is second. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is third. Marvel and DC HeroClix fourth. Then D&D Fantasy Miniatures, which I didn't even know they still made. Card Fight. What? That was sixth. Force of Will, which I thought that went out of business. Dragon Ball Super, which if you need any cards, raise your guy. Pathfinder Battles. Again, what? And then they're a 10th, Star Wars Destiny. That doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, Ray. You and I were talking beforehand off the air that we got an S ton of cards we're sitting on. I get a little nervous, and I don't think Destiny's dead. That's not my point. But there it is in black and white and orange at the top. and it's sitting at 10th for spring. What's just initial reaction to that?
I think, a lot of people have said it before in response to that list is, they weren't releasing any product at that point. They were in between set releases. So that's the easy, fast answer. I will say that. But kind of like you were saying, I can't even identify 3 to 4 of those, card games on that list.
Yeah.
So just that alone, maybe that's just, our perception and we don't really see that. But, the fact that we don't know what those card games are.
Yeah, card fight.
And, we're Star Wars Destiny fans that are hoping that our game is, pushing its way to the top. We have some competitors that we're not even aware of.
No.
And it doesn't feel good to know that games that I've never heard of, you've never heard of, are sitting above us right now. And that's the only thing that's concerning. And how many cards I'm sitting on right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of cards. Ray's Hot Cards. You can go ahead and send him an email. He'll give you some of those. I don't even know what to say. I think clearly they didn't have any product that came out, and that delay was huge for a lot of different reasons. But I think in terms of sales for them, like, you can't evaporate from a list and then, go from 10th to 3rd, which is they were sitting for a while, which was great. You got to stay in front of people. And, I hope things have been resolved in terms of the issues that they had, but they could kill the game before. I mean, really, they could kill the game. I mean, there's a point when people aren't going to carry it anymore if they're sitting on boxes, and they have a pretty aggressive, you can't sell boxes lower than a certain amount or something like that. So I don't know if people want to sit on a whole lot of this product. And Awakenings, they overcompensated when there was a huge shortage for that. I think I don't know about your locals, but the places I go have a lot of those boxes, and I think they're going to be stuck with them once the whole thing rotates out.
Yeah, that's another issue that I've spoken at length with a lot of people. And, this will certainly drum up conversation, but being a guy that comes from Magic the Gathering background where they, got really put through the ringer of how they made their, standard / current meta or current set block and the rotations and things like that, Destiny is going to run into a problem with the card pool rotating out at the frequency that it does. Some cards are going to linger for too long. And then others are only going to have a short period of time or feel like a short period of time. And I think that, like we said, the lapse in time between product, that's something that just can't happen in the future. And if the game wants to continue to grow, I mean, they not only did they lose players that were actively participating, but there wasn't even, a time to, generate excitement for new players. So right. I think that will forever and always be a true stain on, their production and how FFG kind of handled that whole thing. But, maybe we can only go up from here.
Yeah. You hope. You really do. I mean, the game, when it all comes down to the game, like the game is just, it's lucky that it's so fun. Like, I really love the game. And the theme is as good as it gets. I mean, we're Star Wars nerds, so we like that. And I think if it wasn't for that, it'd be done. I wouldn't even give it another chance. I mean, I am definitely a little worried. One of the things I wonder, Ray, so cards like Ancient Lightsaber, right? I mean, we're sitting on those. We've got, I'm trying to think about what are the big cards from Awakenings, even at this point, that's relevant.
Force Speed, we still have.
So Force Speed, that's Spirit of Rebellion too, right?
Yep. So handcrafted light bows.
That's Spirit of Rebellion too, right?
Yes.
So you got those two in Spirit of Rebellion. You've got Empire at War's got the Ancients. Is there anything in an Awakenings box that you care about? Palpatine, Vader? Palpatine's Spirit of Rebellion too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Awakenings just has a lot of good staple cards, like a lot of good commons and uncommons.
Right.
They have tried to reprint several of them with like Tactical Mastery and Logistics, which I thought was good on them.
Yeah.
They're certainly going to have to start doing that.
That's the key.
But Yeah, the key is going to have to be either reprinting or coming up with some type of core set that will be allowed into standard.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a direction that they should move in, because we're going to lose so many cards that the game starts to transform from what it is right now into something that we're all not familiar with once the set rotates out.
Right. I'm trying to compare it to Magic in terms of like if I played during third edition was when I was really into it. That's how old I am. At third edition and fourth edition. And when fifth edition came out, and if it was a Sarah Angel or something that they ended up reprinting, you could buy an old pack of cards and the card's still good. So like there was incentive, and it was kind of cool if you had the older versions of the cards, because you look like a gangster playing the alpha and beta of the cards that are still available. And that would interest me into buying old product. And you look at a box like Spirit of Rebellion is a good box. Like there is a lot of great stuff in there. But if they no longer see play, it's over. And I think I was listening to some conversation about what cards, if this was going to stick around for a while, or they ever did print a base set like that, or a core set, like things like Force Speed, which people thought needed to get out of here. I think Force Speed actually isn't that bad. I think it's Force Illusion and Second Chance of the cards that I hate, but I don't know. What do you think about Force Speed? Do you think that card should stick around and get reprinted?
So I'm a huge fan of cards that I don't know. I do like my own little eye test of what do I think is fair. Mm-hmm. And, I think Force Speed is fair in the sense that it requires you to, where it is very easy to play a card for free and then roll a dice that has 3 specials on it to hopefully hit that special, where that is, an easy task to ask somebody to do. But I do like that it's a card in your deck that then provides you with action cheating.
Right.
So, you have to take some steps to then gain the benefit of action cheating. And I was actually speaking with Jedi Geek Girl about this topic of, I don't like cards that inherently have broken kind of traits to them. The Sabines of the world, or now the kind of Cad Banes, where they get automatically, rewarded for doing one thing.
Right.
So I think Force Speed is fair. I think that would go in like, a master set, if you will, one of the really sought after cards or beloved cards. But I'll tell you right now, FFG, call me up. I will hand pick the cards that should be in a core set.
Well, there you go.
I'm your guy. I mean, I first card, Bait and Switch, that needs to get reprinted.
Yeah. See, look at this. I mean, Ray, you serve our country in so many different ways. This is incredible. Now you're going to serve the world, basically, by hand-picking the cards they should put into a core set. Unbelievable. Yeah, so you think that card's fair? You like that card? A little bait and switch, do you?
Yeah, it's just it's so fun. Like, what's a world without a bait and switch?
It's one without sunshine.
Right, exactly. I think the thing that a lot of people are going to miss is the cards that they just, they're making a deck and they say to themselves, I want to play a red, blue hero deck. Right. And that's the deck I'm going to play because these are my characters.
And you'll lose and then because instantly, it's a bad combo. But
yeah, that's very true. But I'm here for the underdogs. So you'll instantly come up with, anywhere from 15 to 20 cards that are auto includes in that deck. And that's going to be the tough part, is when this, shift does happen, is a lot of those staple cards, those cards that are kind of our go-to deck building cards that will meet, whatever need, are going to get lost. Yeah. And I really feel like people are going to be, the meta will adapt, people will construct decks and times will change. But I think that it would be great to kind of bring them back. Now, it can't be very recently. Like, it can't be like, we're in the next set now, let's introduce a core set. It has to be something that, some time does go by and then it'll be sought after. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like I said, handpick me, or pick me, I'll handpick them. Yes. And there will be no delay. Production will get started right away.
Right away.
And, FFG, you'll be in a good spot if you just hire me.
Well, You know what? I think they had a posting on their site for somebody. Actually, it was a social media coordinator. Let's start there, and then we can go the other way. Yeah, picking those cards, that would be interesting to see how they could make that happen. I'm thinking about now with the core sets. See, I don't know how where Magic has gone. Like, are there still those common cards that you can count on to be reprinted every year in Magic?
Well, the thing that they're doing is Magic, for as long as they've been around and how successful they are, they have been put through it as far as they started off with one system. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
The players realized it didn't work out. Then they switched it, and then they started introducing the core sets every year, and then they realized that wasn't working, and then they said they were going to stop doing them. So they've tried a lot of different things.
So they don't do that anymore?
They do. So they just started re-releasing core sets. They stopped them for like 2 years, and then people wanted them back. So, Magic the Gathering does listen to their player base. If something's a problem, they fix it. If people don't want things, they get rid of it. So that's one thing that I really respect about that company. But, through time, they've seen what works and doesn't work. And that's what I think FFG is going to have a problem, is they're going to realize that this cycling out or this cycle schedule that they've created is not going to work unless they are releasing, some type of core set. And if people don't understand what we mean by core sets, it's some type of pool of cards that the creators of the game always want to have constant throughout different formats.
Right.
And that's kind of what they're going to need to have, to do. And I think that, we went through the Rally Aid thing because they weren't releasing product. There's going to be a point where we're going to be rally aiding for more product, and even during set releases. So,
yeah. So I think about like the in terms of like if they did reprint the cards, I definitely want them to do that. Then I think about the other thing that Bobby was talking about a few weeks ago, which is the deck size going up to 40. So when you have 30 cards in your deck and then you reprint like the greatest hits, right? If you think about right now, even though I stink at the game, I could come up with, the pretty much the auto includes that are going to be there, like the Friends in Low Places or the He Doesn't Like Yous or Electroshocks that are coming back. So there's there's 6 cards right there. The the ambush weapons that everybody loves, if those come back. There's a point when there's, within, I don't know, 22 cards, 24 cards, I pretty much know what's going to be in your deck based on what characters you see. And so then you're looking for experimenting with like 6 cards, right? Out of all of the cards that are there. So that worries me a little bit, that if they do bring those cards back, like 4 speed, you can assume that's going to be in a deck, right? When do the newer cards get a chance to come out and be played? I think about like NJ Cuenca's deck that he played, right? That is his first name, right? NJ. I always used to call him Other Guy, and that was rude. He actually has a deck that I think is amazing, which is that Afro deck.
Yes.
And, Climate Disruption Array that everybody laughs about. And that I think even said you threw away when you got that card. Weren't you talking about that?
Yeah. I looked at it and thought to myself, you know what? I've never played Afra. I have no intentions of playing Afra. And this card is horrendous. I'm not dealing 2 damage to myself. No, by horrendous, you meant amazing, because there it is. But yes.
But those are, if you know those 24 cards that are in every, if red, blue, or whatever it is, deck, then you're just dealing with, your spice or your secret sauce, as everybody calls it. It's like, what, 2 cards, 4 cards? Yeah.
Yeah. I always go back to any time I think about, those 2 to 3 cards. I always think about when Eric Wainwright would talk about his inclusion of BB-8 and how he kind of justified it by saying, he only sees it maybe once out of every 3 games he plays, because it's a one of. So like you were saying, all these spicy texts that people are trying to put in, I feel like it's only good at a one of. You're rarely seeing that card as it is. And And then, like you said, if you're just trying to introduce some newer cards or some new flavor, then and you're only putting it at a 1 slot, you're really not going to even get the, I don't want to say the benefit of it, but it's not going to be consistent.
Right.
And where it's a fun kind of, I always look at those spots as something to either, be more defensive or further your game plan of, damage dealing, milling, whatever it is, or, just add a little bit more mitigation. That's always like the fallback plan. But yeah, I think you're completely right, is if they keep a lot of these, constant cards around, then, or like you said, the greatest hits around, then yeah, they will always be jammed into these decks. And then we might need 40 card decks. I'm not opposed to, I know that there was a lot of opinions on the 40 card deck article that Bobby Sapphire put out. I am not opposed to it, because there are times when I'm creating decks and man, cutting, you end up having to cut an entire play set of something that you might have wanted to add.
I think, you're talking about one-ofs, and that's making a list after I really had some reflection at how much I stunk up the joint at the last Store Championship. I think Magic hurt me. It hurts me as a player. I think it just, your mind is different in terms of that deck size. And I don't know, when I played, like having a one of in a 60 card deck, like why are you even having it in your deck, number one? And then, in Destiny, I don't know. One of is not something that I can get behind, and maybe that's why I stink. I just feel like then why even put it in there? Because somebody's gonna discard it out of your hand. Well, Mill will discard your whole deck, but a CQA in the first turn, that card's in your hand. If you have 2 of those one-ofs, like it's like over. You can't plan on that even being there.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. So there's 2 lines of kind of thought behind this, and I tend to hate this argument, but I have one-ofs in my deck, which makes my deck able to adapt to any situation. That's the one argument. And then the other argument is, well, if you have a lot of one-ofs, your deck is extremely inconsistent.
Right.
And every game you play is going to be you're going to have to navigate through, different ways, because maybe, a little combo that you found just isn't lining up because one of the other combo pieces is sitting at the bottom of the deck because you have a deck full of ones. It has been, from when we all first started, playing Star Wars Destiny, it was always 2 of everything, and now there's 15 different cards in your deck and a playset of 2. I mean, that's just how it was. And then I will say, as of recently,
I like that, by the way. I like that level. That's me. That's how I like to play.
No, I mean, that was comfortable for me as well, because I knew, like we were talking about bait and switch. If I pulled off a sweet bait and switch play, I knew I had another one in there I can look forward to. Yeah. But
they say, I heard that Ashton, one of your teammates, said you were a master bait and switch player. I digress. Anyway, you were saying, I apologize.
The one-of lists are popping up, a lot more. If you go onto, Star Wars Destiny DB and you start looking at decks and poking around, and even some decks that are placing, pretty high at top level competitions, right? You'll see there's anywhere from 8 to 9 one-ofs in the deck.
See,
for me, I'm uncomfortable with it. I don't like it. It makes me feel like I'm just mashing some things together. Yeah. But some people swear by it.
They do. They swear. I swear at it. They swear by it. I don't know, Coach. I mean, you gotta figure this out with me. I'm like, I just grabbed a whole stack of cards, which it's another question I have for you, Ray. Since someone finally I can talk to you about the addiction of buying the cards. I grabbed a stack of red neutral, which is a very like thick stack of cards because I don't play any red. So I've got them all in this box, and I'm looking at these cards like I want to use these things. Like, here we go. Air Superiority. This is a great, look at this card. This is Spirit of Rebellion, Ray. Here we go. Do you know what Air Superiority does? Do you know how much it costs, by the way? What's it cost?
Yes, it costs 0.
1. Good try.
1.
After you play the support, Ray, you place 3 shields on it, and an action is you exhaust the support to move 1 shield from it to a character. Like, that's huge. I don't know what that does. Why? I've got 20 of them, if you need any.
Yeah, it was played in mill, three wide rainbow mill.
Was it?
Air superior? Yes.
There you go. See? How about this one? Salvo. This seems good. Got a lot
That's
of them.
a good card. That's the
right.
That's the old
That's
hot
the
cakes.
launch bay, right?
The launch bay. Yes.
There it is. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. If you need any. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Or how about this one? This was the new one, right here. Hold on, I've got it. I like this one. Coming up. It's a 0 cost. It's called Take the Fight to Them. Nyem Nyub is in there. Isn't that his name? And Lando, is that who that is right there? It's a 0 cost. Resolve any number of your dice showing damage in the order of your choice. Boom. You're feeling it.
I feel like the reason you're doing this is because when I saw Chip at when I saw Chip at the Rochester Store Championship, I told him, I said, hey, if you want me to come on the show sometime, I have no problem. I noticed you have a hard time recalling certain cards, and
no,
we're laughing about it.
I'm not trying to set you up. No,
this is what he's doing. He's picking the most obscure cards.
No, I'm literally going through all of my cards, saying, "What am I going to do with these things? If this game ever does die, I'm screwed." What's the one that
Take the Fight to Them? Nobody plays it,
okay?
So don't worry.
All right, here's one. This one I heard everybody talking about. Grand Entrance. Do you like that card?
That is an amazing card.
Okay, well, I've got, let's see, it's common, so I've got 50 of them. Grand Entrance, by the way, this is a neutral red for 1 cost, $1, 1 resource, however you want to say it. Activate one of your characters. All right, well, I could do that without the card, so I'm paying 1 to do something I can do for free. Reroll any number of its character and upgrade dice. Okay. You could discard to reroll, which is the name of the show. Then reroll any number of its character and upgrade dice. So you basically get to, it's like a whole bunch of BB-8s.
Yes.
Roll on. What is it called? Roll on. Is that the card you roll once?
Roll on.
But that's
Yep.
one die, though.
Reroll.
Quick draw. What's the holster? What's that one do? Doesn't the holster do the same type of deal?
Yeah, that's exhaust, and then
Yeah.
you can reroll any weapon
Yeah.
that you have out
Why,
there.
why do people like this card, Ray? Tell me why. Tell me what I'm not seeing about this card that for 1 resource, why I want to do this. Is it so I can guarantee, like with some other things, like with some ambush going on, some action cheating? Why do I like this card?
Yes, exactly. So the big play, or the common play, I would say, is bringing up the card that we were talking about before, Force Speed. So you Force Speed, take 2 additional actions. You Grand Entrance, and it's basically you roll in, you see what you get, you have an opportunity to reroll, and then you have an opportunity to reroll again. Right. So it's a way to just maximize those percentages and get some decent damage out there.
Yeah.
Same thing with like a card like Tactical Mastery. You could Tactical Mastery into Grand Entrance, and then it's just a way to try to gain a little bit more damage, or a little bit more whatever you're looking for on your character dice or upgrade dice. The big one is Grand Entrance is now making General Grievous 2 a little bit more appealing.
Yeah.
Because people are doing swiftness into Grand Entrance, which would then give Grand Entrance ambush. And so there's a lot of cute little plays you can make with it. I've seen Sabine, she rolls out into Truce, into Grand Entrance. It's a whole process.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just go ahead and put them in a pile over here under not playing red. But no, see, that's the difference. And what is it? Is it a 1 of? I bet you.
No, it's a 2 of.
Oh.
I mean, if you're gonna Grand Entrance, you're gonna make sure that you do it twice.
Damn it, you do it right. I make a Grand Entrance anytime I come into a store championship, and people just want to see me because I have cool promos. That's about it. But you're going to change all that, Ray. The coaching tier. We're announcing the coaching tier of Jackalman Games. But you know what I can do at Jackalman Games? I can win a box every day. You're giving away a box, right? Every single day. Is it every day?
God, that's the worst advertising.
Wait a minute.
Every month.
Sorry.
Once
Every
a
month. Every month we're giving away a box at Jackalman Games. A box of what?
We're going to stick with the most current set. So
Current
right now
set.
we're on Way of the Force. So that's what we're gonna focus on.
All right. How do I win it? What do I have to do do I have to?
So become a Patreon, and you will be your name will be put into the Ashton mechanical generator, the same thing that Chip uses for his re-rolling probabilities.
Yes.
And
that is
we
the
put
best
that
Excel
machine.
spreadsheet. I will show you before you leave my spreadsheet, and then your face will be blown off. So just be careful.
All right, I'll do the same thing. I'll put that over there along
Okay.
with the red cards of something
Right.
never do.
Yeah.
And he'll put it in the machine of probabilities, and we'll pick a name. So we had our first winner, which was last month, and his name was Parker Sutton, and he got a box of Way of the Force. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. What would be, in your mind, the worst box of Way of the Force? Like, what would be the legendaries you would want to see the least?
Okay, so we're going to go with, because there has to be 6, so we might get one in there that people like.
Yeah.
So what would be just a horrendous box? Let's go with Stealthy, because I really don't like that card.
You're not a fan of that. People thought that card, our friend Mike Rudin, the Rebel Spy from all the Keyforge podcasts now, he spoiled that card.
Yeah, he was excited about it. I remember
Very
him hearing
excited.
that now Mill can deal a little bit damage too. I remember him saying that.
He does. Well, he also doesn't have a heart. That's why he plays Mill, so it's fine.
Yes.
But all right, so that would be what 2 of those? Well, let's say no, you can't get 2 of anyone.
Yeah. Okay,
Or 2 of one, 2 of the worst one. So would it be 2 of that one? Do you think is that the worst rare?
No. We'll save it for what the people are all
right.
screaming in their cars. Then I'd have to say Formidable, because I don't know where that card has a home.
Right.
So
Someplace.
that's in there.
Okay. I'm
Let's
looking
see
up the
what else
legendaries right now.
I'm trying to do this all on the top of my
No, you're
head,
doing
'cause
good.
I've opened up a lot of boxes and I've gone, oh man. I can't
Fifth
believe I
Brothers lightsaber. Got to throw one of those in there.
not too bad, but yeah, we have to throw something.
Have you seen anyone in any now? It doesn't have to be competitive, because I get in trouble when I say that. Even though I'm the least competitive person anyone could possibly listen to, by the way. But that's not a very. Have you ever seen it played in a competitive manner?
Chip, it was played at the store championship that we went to, and it took third.
Oh, it did?
A deck.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Well, then I see. Right. That's why you
there
do what you
go.
do, and I do what I do, which is lose. So, okay. What else? Here. General Grievous's wheel bike.
That's the one. That is if we're doubling up we got 2 of those. In
okay,
that
good.
Yep.
This is so I'm just describing Parker's box, by the way, that he won.
Then
the Stealthy's 1. He got 2 Grievous bikes. It's 2. That's 3. He got what'd you say? The Formidable 4.
Formidable 4. We got the Fifth Brothers in there, so we're really cutting it
5,
down.
which you think is just a meta defining card, and then throw in I don't know what DJ.
I was gonna say DJ because I don't think he should be a legendary.
Okay, what about Darksaber? Do you feel people play that a lot now?
I think Darksaber will eventually find a home.
Yeah,
because like when everything starts shifting, I think now in the current game people are making a lot of money, and all it takes really to put a Darksaber down is
4 resources.
4 resources.
All it
you
takes.
play a 2-cost upgrade, and then the next round you can overwrite. Now you have this crazy upgrade that you never know how much the value of the dice is because you have to constantly look at the character, and it becomes really confusing.
I saw a commercial. God, what the heck was it for?
About the Darksaber? I have to start watching cable.
Yes.
Again.
No, it was. It's commercial for something. Wait a minute. Was it in the trailer for for that new freaking cartoon that's coming out? I don't know. I could have sworn somebody is yelling right now at their whatever iPod. If people even use iPods anymore, they're yelling. It's something. It was in some commercial where it's in a cartoon. Isn't it in a cartoon? The whole thing came from cartoon.
Yeah. Is it? I haven't. Now see.
Wait a minute.
This is why we have Mike, because I haven't watched that much Rebels.
Oh no!
I'll say that. I know you're like a fanboy right now. But
I'm starting to warm up to it. Yeah, I think I'm on episode 6 or something like that of season 1. It's really starting to kick in. Starting to really like it.
I get a lot of stuff from like Amanda and Ashton. They get annoyed with me.
Yeah. Because
I had a hard time taking to Clone Wars, but I'm pushing through it.
Yeah.
And Rebels, people swear by it. Jack from the Golden Dice podcast, I think it's like his favorite show. That and probably like Seinfeld. or Friends, one of those two.
He's getting married on May the 4th. Just that's pretty much all you got to know.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
The guy
tells you where he's at.
A fanatic.
Good God.
But I'm not too much. I just can't get past the animated part of it.
Yeah.
The digital
CG. That's pretty tough for those animated things. If you can't get past the animation, that's seems to be a barrier of liking that stuff. Well, you and I are on the same page, but that's good. So you become a patron, and you could win a box every month over there at Jackalman Games. Hey, one of the things we were talking about too before we officially hit the record button was the idea of 2 character decks being dead. And now you talk about someone who's trying to become a more competitive player, like a lot of the people who listen to the show. Then you think more than 2 characters can get a little bit overwhelming. Do you think that 2 characters have a place right now in all these, store league nights? And it doesn't have to be in U.S. Nationals or the Alaska Winter Classic or whatever it is. But do you feel that 2 character, can you bring a 2 character deck? Can you bring a 2 character same color deck anymore? Where do you think they stand with all the crazy 3? They call it 3 wide now. Where do you think that those stand?
So I'm going to go down like a quick story time here.
Okay,
and
hold on. Let
just
me get a chair.
Explain this point. So I went to a store championship in New Jersey where we met up with the Golden Dice Boys, and Arrowbrook Gaming was down there.
Oh,
and it was myself and Kevin, and we all had a great time. We ate pizza afterwards. It was a good time.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great. Did you play Destiny, or was it just you had pizza?
Yeah, we just had pizza and then we just, talked about stuff. But no, we played a store championship.
Okay.
And, 3 wide decks were running rampant, and vehicles, and a Kylo price eventually won the day. But still, some of us were playing 2 character decks. And towards the end of the tournament, I kind of just felt like it just wasn't going to cut it. 2 character lists were just not going to cut it against kind of like the spread that was out there. So fast forward like 2 weeks later, I'm, on the Star Wars Destiny DB every day actively. And I'm really just looking at character pairings. And I was trying to make R2-P2 work for a while in the current meta. And I was getting frustrated because I feel like I'm better with the 2 character builds than I am with 3. And I think a lot of people are drawn to the 2 character decks. It feels good to have 2 really strong characters and then, just roll out and throw down upgrades. And it feels good. It feels like that's the way Destiny's supposed to be played. So I was talking to a bunch of different people. I actually, it's funny. I called up Drew from Arrowbrook Gaming. And I'm like, hey, man, can I just talk to you about something? And he's like, yeah, man, like, what's up? Like, thinking it's maybe something serious. I don't know.
You're like, that pizza we had was really good, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah. All right, man, have a good night. No, sorry.
And I basically just like said to him, like, are 2 character decks dead? And this was like probably 3 weeks ago. And I said, are 2 character decks dead? Like, I feel like you can't bring them. You can't bring them to a tournament. And if you do, you're at an extreme disadvantage. You're not going to be able to dish out enough damage to kill Mill. You're not going to be able to keep up with the late game play of a vehicles deck. People are now sitting around like 26 and up health. Like that's kind of the norm. And a 2 character list can kind of max out at 24 health. And a lot of the decks that went into like Worlds last year were sitting at anywhere from 20 health, to 23. That was kind of the average there. Right. And I was kind of upset about it. So I talked to Drew. Drew kind of talked me off the ledge, and he's like, no, man, listen, R2-P2 is still alive out there. I'm telling you. And we just kind of discussed that. So then when Mike Gem, Bobby Sapphire, the Hyperloops, spokesman, I'll say, or the face of the Hyperloops, he came out with an article that I was extremely impressed by because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. So it's basically what 3 2-character decks can survive. And he has here R2-P2, which is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
He has Obi-Maz, and then he also has the Thrawn Snoke Vehicles deck.
2 characters. each.
All 2 characters.
Yeah.
Yep. So I still think it's an uphill battle. I still think that, and it's kind of sad to see because, you know, if you even just look at how the characters, you know, are priced out at Elite, I found myself, you know, again on the Star Wars Destiny DB, I found myself staying within the range of because you can organize. Here's a quick kind of tip for those making decks. If you go on to Star Wars Destiny DB and you hit the cursor to reorganize the characters by play cost, it really helps out a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I found myself staying within, you know, the battle droid, if we're doing villains, the battle droid and Snoke. And I was trying to make decks out of those characters. And that eliminates, you know, everyone from the original Kylo Ren all the way down.
Right.
And that's what's kind of unfortunate. And I don't really want to play in a Destiny where, Destiny metagame where I'm only looking at characters that are from a play cost of 6 to 13 or 14 at Elite.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making me sad. I feel like I'm sad now. What do we do?
Well, you can just go onto your Destiny Council and you'll just take one of their decks.
Yeah.
Because they like 2 character decks.
Right. I did. And you know what happened? I went 0-4. No, I went 1-5. I had to buy. That's kicking. That's somebody who has a cut and you take lemon and salt and you like rub it in their arm. Like, hey, yeah, you're going to have 0 chance of even just saving face because we're going to give you the win. Here's a pack. And in my pack, I think I opened a Jedi Sentinel. That was I've got 14 of those. Which, by the way, Jedi Sentinel starts the game with a shield. Did you know that one, Ray? Jedi Sentinel?
Do they really? No.
Yeah, they do. Don't they?
No.
Jedi. Well, no, not Jedi Sentinel. What is it? What's the one with the lady on it screaming? What is that card? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, that's a Jedi Sentinel.
Okay, let me go look it up. And if I'm right, by the way, if I'm right, you owe me pizza, and it's got to be vegan pizza. Jedi
Vegan pizza.
Sentinel. It's called the box. That's what my friend always tells me. Cards, Way of the Force. And I'm going to sort. You can't sort by name. Of course, I mean, why would you? Sort by name. And we're going to hit search. Here we go. We're going to go down to HIJ, Jedi Sentinel. After setup, would you want to read it with me, or do you want to just want me to read it out?
No, I like listening to your voice.
Right. Jedi Sentinel, Hero, Force, Rare. It's a character Jedi. It's 10 points and 10 health. Do you want to know its die sides, Ray? 1 melee, 2 melee for a resource, 1 shield, 1 resource, and a special, and a blank. The special is deal 2 damage to a character, or 3 damage instead if this character has 3 or more shields. And its text reads, after setup, give a character 1 shield.
Wow, that's like a 10-point plot. Look at that.
But here's another thing. It is not a unique character. So you throw some Plo at it. Now, Plo gets a shield. Jedi gets a shield. You just added 2 health right off the top. Terrible. It's terrible deck, but
it would be the Jedi Sentinel, Plo Koon at Elite, and a Jawa.
I really want to see those things work. Like I'll tell you, because I'm not going to do it because unless I can figure it out for PAX Unplugged, is the Jedi Alkalite I want to make work. And when you look at that card, it actually is a pretty good card. It's just the pairings just doesn't work out, and you end up having to do like it's 3 wide, but it's a 3 die star. That's a mess.
Yeah, it's awkwardly costed or play cost at 7 health and 9 play cost.
Yeah, no,
but good. The die sides are impactful. I think what people do is they grab like the cheap version of that, which is the Jedi Instructor. Yeah. And then they kind of just roll out with that.
It's got to be the Alkalite. And I want to be bad. I just think even if it's bad, you'd be badass if you played that card. You talk about being Captain Thunder. That's how you, Ray, we're going to switch the coaching. That's how you go from just straight up Thunder to like Colonel Thunder.
Colonel Thunder.
Is that higher in the art? What's the highest you can be? General?
General, yes.
Like the general. You just get rid of Thunder altogether. Let's rename it all. Just you're the general. You just dominate if you win with that.
The general.
I think
and I'll
it
just
could happen.
star in all those insurance commercials.
Yeah, that would be great. And you could actually, you could suit up, have like you could wear, I wouldn't wear, of course, your actual fatigues, but you could wear like, what's the guy's name? Huxley? Is that the guy from, that's the guy, right? General Hux?
Yeah, General Hux.
You know how they have their like commander's uniform with like the little red and blue and their little things on the lapel?
Yes.
Yes. Like you just go in as the general. Like that's your thing. There's a guy who dresses up as, who's the blind guy? Kanan. Looks just like Kanan. You don't have the red hair. You could be Piat. You could actually go as Piat. You could probably fool people.
I could do that.
Right? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. That's what's going to happen in the next tournament. So you're telling me that the two character decks aren't dead. You think that they're still going to be, they've got a chance. Do you think a 2 character deck will win Nova?
So it's tough to say. I do think that out of the 3 that Bobby Sapphire identified, I think the one that has the best chance would probably be Obi Maz, just because it has the ability to kind of action cheat damage out.
Yeah.
Using the 4 speeds and then into Maz and then resolve 2 dice. So it does have ways to cheat out some damage. It also runs things like Concentrate and My Ally is the Force. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Right.
Which is a pretty busted card if you think about it. And I think that can keep up with Mill because it can deal 6 to 9 damage in a turn and then just quickly hyperspace jump out and reset and do it again. So if I had to put my money on a 2 character deck that could push its way to the top, it would be that. Or I will say that the Yoda Cassian build is very good. It just
you crushed me. Now I know I wasn't great playing it, but
yes.
I felt like there was no way I could catch up with you. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. I rolled terrible, but I felt like I couldn't get through 3 characters. I don't know. I couldn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, that's the uphill battle when it comes to 3 characters.
3 character vehicle like that. I would think that. Yeah, I felt like I just couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, that deck I was running had 27 health. So, it's going to take a lot of combos on your end to chew through all of it. And then, if I do have the opportunity to mitigate, I'll mitigate, a couple dice here and there. And then that puts your damage output down significantly. The thing I don't like about that deck is if you just manage Cassian's dice, here and there, you can kind of mitigate additional 2 indirects.
Right.
So that's the one thing I don't think that I'm not too high on that deck, but hey, it showed up at Gen Con, did very well, and I think it still has a place.
Yes,
but that's kind of where we're at. Is if you have a 2 character deck, you better hope that it's fast and slightly broken, in the sense that it has to action cheat, smack in the face for a lot of damage, and then be able to get out of there. And the only kind of colors that leave us to access to cards to smack in hard and then get out of there is you have to play yellow hero, and you have to play red hero because you can play cards like retreat.
Right.
And with yellow, obviously hyperspace jump. It's just unfortunate.
You know what? When I played Boba Phasma, I felt was really fast. Like I felt, I don't know, that suited my play style. And also Boba Seven Sister, which I played at regionals. I really liked that. I felt like I always had a chance with that deck. I really liked that deck. Had some speed.
That's funny you brought up both of those because you played Boba 7th at the regional I first met you.
That's right.
And then I played Boba Phasma.
That's right. And I looked at that deck after, and then I talked to our buddy out in Northern Ireland there, Sith Holocron, and he played Boba Phasma at his regional, whatever it was that he was playing at. And by the way, they get no love because this weekend it's the UK Nationals. You know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, no. Very U.S. centric there, Ray. Very U.S. centric. We're a global community, so they're out there. I want to find out what that meta is going to be. It'll be interesting to see. Well, all right, you gave me a little bit of hope to see what's going to happen. Now I got to put my deck together for PAX, which really isn't a big big tournament. I mean, it'll probably be a galactic qualifier or whatever it is, but we'll have to see. Did we convince you to go to that, Ray? Are you going to go?
Yeah, I was talking to you and Zach. I think I'm going to go. I'm just hard on dates. Like, I miss my wife's birthday every year. I'm bad. I am bad. So someone's going to have to remind me 3 or 4 times and then tell me if I have to register for anything or just show up.
Yeah.
Because I do live, when I'm not stationed in Fort Drum, I live, in southern New Jersey and like 5 minutes away from where PAX would be. So I need to make it down there. Yeah,
maybe check and see if your wife's birthday is in November.
Yeah, I got to double check that.
Yeah, all right. You just
check the calendar that I never check.
Ray, thank you for coming on this show. I appreciate you bringing some actual knowledge to us. And if you give me the real quick last bit of wisdom from Ray, what do you think right now are I want the top 4 decks in the meta right now that you're going to see all over Nova. He's not going, folks, but here's what he thinks is going to be there, and then what you think is going to win it straight up. And no BS, Ray. Here we go.
All right.
Top 4.
Here's my top 4. We'll go 3 mill decks.
Okay.
And they're going to be Elite Yoda, Single Die Cassian, and Anakin Skywalker. No, but there will definitely be at least one or two, I will say, that will be in the top 4. I'd like to say some vehicle deck will be out there, and it will include Dr. Aphra. And hopefully you guys are hearing that. I'm just repeating exactly what happened at Gen Con.
Yeah, right.
No, but I think Obi Maz is going to win Nova.
Whoa.
Yes.
My mic just dropped. I can't even believe it. Obi Maz, old school, coming back.
Yeah, I think that it's just gaining a lot of ground, and certainly high on it. And like I said, it has everything it needs. The only thing it lacks in is its health. It only has access to 20 health starting off, but Obi-Wan's ability to kind of put a shield on every activation helps out a little bit. But it's just the speed and to be able to chop down characters. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm saying Obi Maz is winning, Nova.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. And Ray, if people want to hear your stuff, you put out a lot of content. Where can they find Jackalman Games? For those who don't know, which is crazy, but for those who don't know.
I can do the laundry list of things, but just head over to youtube.com.
Wait a minute, I got to write that down. YouTube.com. Okay. Yep. YouTube.com.
Jackalman Games.
Jackalman Games.
And then from there, you can navigate through the world that we have created on there.
You actually, I think you're pushing people to the wrong place, Ray. If I could give you a bit of advice, go ahead. You are a web designer, really undercover, from what I understand. And Ashton, one of your buddies there at Jackalman, claims to have been this big web programmer putting your site together, but yet it was you who seems to be bringing it home.
No, it definitely Ashton's like our secret weapon when it comes to like designing and things like that. Chip just caught me while I was editing something. I told him, "Hey, check it out," and he's like, "You spelled article." So I was like, "Oh man, I got to go in there." And I let him know I was overworked and underpaid.
Right.
But
no, it looks good.
So we have our website now, and it is jackalmangames.com. So head over there. We're really trying to fine tune it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, hell, it looks great.
But yeah, we're getting more information up there. We have articles and we have some kind of freelance article writers. So I'm really encouraged by that.
Well, your podcast is coming along great, and you had Andrew Cox on just the other day, which was a great show. You've talked to NJ Cuenca was on there talking about his deck and going shirtless on the podcast that he does and his YouTube channel. So you've definitely brought some big people on, and I've learned a lot from the show. So I appreciate you taking some time today and helping me through. We got to get some TTS games in, Ray, and you got to be beat by the best. So I'm willing to take some lumps so I can learn this game.
I appreciate you calling me one of the best, but thanks for having me on, and hopefully we could do it again.